Okay, I needed to show you guys these hands because there's something going on here. There's a bit of drama going on here, right? But once I put my hands down, it's giving church. It's giving Sunday school teacher. And I don't know how I feel about that. I love the Lord with all my heart, but Sana, I'm not walking around looking like a Sunday school teacher. No offense to the Sunday school teachers, because I know there's some cool ones. But the prayer warriors, the strong in the Lord ones who love their clothes simple, and there's a certain aesthetic, man. You guys get me. If I'm Zarani, you know what I'm talking about. But anyway, guys, welcome to yet another exciting edition on the Lenz channel, guys. I'm so excited to be doing a sit down. Absolutely missed doing sit downs, and the reason why I haven't been doing sit downs is because I simply felt like I had absolutely nothing to say. You know that tweet thingy, or whatever, people have turned it into a quote. I'm in my quiet girl era. Like, I need a next to say, zero. I genuinely just didn't know what to say, but I've been wanting to do a sit down. I just didn't know what to talk about, and right now I feel like I do have something to talk about. I am gonna get a bit vulnerable with you guys because this is like a check-in video. I just want to check in with you guys. How are you guys doing? What's up, man? What are you guys busy with? And also just to fill you guys in on what I am doing, and why my uploads have been so slow. So over the past few months, obviously there has been a lot of transitions, guys. I think the last sit down, if I'm not mistaken, I was unwrapping my wedding gifts, and that would mean that I'm a wife now. If you're new here, I'm a wife now. There's so many transitions that are happening, and at that time last year it was slightly easier because I was not really working, so I could be a wife, I wasn't working, so I had a little bit more time to actually focus on household activities and things that I wanted to do in terms of being a wife. But right now, because I've started a job, well, I started a few months ago. I have been content producing a show. If you follow me on Instagram and also on Facebook, you would know by now that I am content producing a show called VS Gaming Weekly. It's gonna air on SABC 1, which is really exciting because, guys, it's not my wildest dream. Let me not lie. It's not my wildest dream, but I've always wanted to do something with the SABC, particularly SABC 1. But in the context of presenting or acting, I've never really looked at content producing a show for SABC 1. That was out of my radar. But God has been so good, man. Nonetheless, it's a yes from Him in terms of working for a show that is going to be on SABC 1. I'm super excited that it's going to be on SABC 1. I didn't know that it was going to be on SABC 1, but I learned like a few days ago that it's going to be on SABC 1, and I was like, wow, God, you are so intentional with what you do. You are so faithful. You listen to the prayers that land in our hearts in form of desires. Sometimes you don't pray these prayers. You don't say, oh God, I want to do this. You just have it as a form of a desire, and you never really take it seriously. God is listening to that desire, and this is why I believe so much that prayers come in many forms, man. It's not always the conventional, in Jesus' name. Sometimes God gives you the desires of your heart so that He can give you the desires of your heart. I don't know if I'm making sense. I'll repeat that again for you. He gives you the desire so that He can fulfill the desire, So, man, it's been really cool working on a new production, but also hectically challenging because, one, this is a very new territory to me. It's not something that I would normally or easily take up on because I'm used to content producing celebrity shows and in-depth celebrity shows. I've worked on Behind the Story with Paul Tusi. I've worked on my top 5 with Naledi. What else? I've done quite a few celebrity shows, and all of them really were interviews. It was heart to heart talk. So this one is not, it's game driven, you know, and that for me was very difficult. And it did result in me not necessarily enjoying a big portion of the process, because while I was content producing, I had to do extra research, and that took up so much of my time. And also on some days I was more discouraged than encouraged, because I just felt like, yo, what am I doing, you know? But by God's grace, my scripts made sense to my fellow content producer. Very easy guy, very chilled, and very helpful, you know. They made sense to him, and they made some sort of sense to our senior, you know, because he's the one who signs off and like gives us the final edits and all of that. You know, they did make some sort of sense. Well, they did make sense, guys. They're on TV. The presenters were saying the things we wrote, so it made sense. But like, my point is that it was a very difficult job to do for me. So there was that, you know, like being a content producer for a show that you've never really done, or you're not familiar with that particular fraternity or space, and then also now that thing consuming you so much that you're struggling to now be a wife, you're struggling to be present in the house, because you're always worried about something. And there was just so many things that were happening, like, you know, during the process of production, that you know, like guests canceling on us, and you just have to make a plan. Like, you have to make sure that somebody comes on set. So there was that, and it was like really strenuous on me in that way. I wasn't able to also make a lot of YouTube content. I was always so tired. I'm working remotely also, so that meant that I was sitting on the couch or like on my desk or like whatever, for like a good 6-7 hours without moving, because I'm that kind of worker. If I need to figure it out, you know. So there was that. It was really just like so straining and so draining. And then with all of that, obviously now I need to be a present wife to my husband, which I felt like I was not being present. You know, things like cooking had to fall off. Things like just being there, man. Like, I don't know, just being there for him emotionally was becoming a struggle, because I needed him to be there for me, and he needed me to be there for him. And because I'm a blabbermouth, I talk too much. My husband is very reserved, by the way, very chilled. So he will listen to you, but I could sense that, like, no, man, everything was just starting to center around me, you know. And apart from the emotional aspect of our marriage being slightly affected, there was the fact that now the house is not clean. I need to clean the house. I need to do the dishes. I need to cook. I need to, yo guys, it was gunengi, you know, it was a lot. And we obviously moved to like a new place. It's much bigger, so who needs to clean it? Me. There was that, and it was very draining. Like, you know, you're just like, oh, where do I even start? It's not like it's too big for me not to be able to clean it on my own, but like, it was just draining. It was a lot. It was just one other aspect of my life that just added to the pressure, you know. Yeah, in that regard, I neglected myself also. I wasn't taking care of myself the way I needed to. And yo guys, it was just a lot of things happening all at the same time, and it was very, very draining. And I was not putting out content also. I was not interested in anything, including the job I was doing. I was just like, oh Sana, I just want to do this and finish, do that and finish. Cleaning, I want to clean and finish. Eating, I want to eat and finish. There was nothing that I was enjoying at that particular time. We're in post-production now, so things are slightly easier. For those who don't know, post-production is the work we do after production. The pressure is slightly less. We're viewing episodes, we signing off episodes and things like that. So it's not as hectic as it used to be. But Yo guys, it was a lot. Sorry about that, guys. There was a bus passing, so I felt like the noise was overwhelming. So yeah, but as I was saying, guys, on top of everything, the other thing that was taking its toll on me was the fact that we had moved to a completely new place, new area that's very far from like our loved ones, and the people we call friends. So I'm all alone in this town, and I don't have like, you know, like an outlet, you know. It's like I can only just go to the mall basically, and that would be it, you know. And I really appreciate the peace. Please, I don't want to go back to where I used to be. I don't want those familiar settings, to be honest with you guys. I'm happy. I'm at much more peace than I've ever been. I don't feel like I'm missing out on much, except that right now I need to schedule time with family. I need to schedule time with friends. I need to plan ahead when I want to see my friends. It's not something that I just wake up and decide, oh yeah, I'm just gonna visit this particular friend, you know. So that has been very difficult for me. There are moments where it feels so lonely, especially when my husband is at work. It does feel I do feel a bit alone, and I generally just struggle as a person with opening up to people and talking. So if I'm not opening up to my husband, then I'm definitely not talking to anyone. You know, I just struggle with bearing myself. Even with this video is so difficult for me because I just feel like I'm oversharing, even though I know that like this is like, you know, just surface level stuff. It's nothing deep. It's not that deep. But like, I don't like talking about my life like that, you know. I don't like being vulnerable like that to people. So yeah, guys, that's what's been happening. It's been very tough. It's been very hectic. Very blessed girl right here. Nonetheless, none of all that's happening takes away the fact that God is so good and that He's offering me opportunities that are helping me grow and making me a better person and a better creative altogether. And just the fact that God is so good and so gracious doesn't take away from all of that. It's just that I was having this conversation with my husband that sometimes we're so scared to be honest about the fact that even in the season of abundance, in the season of blessings, there are parts of us or parts of our old self that we miss. It's not always bad parts. It's not always like, you know, terrible things that God removes from you. Sometimes it's a good old time. Sometimes it's just being able to be with your friends and enjoy their presence. That doesn't come as easily anymore because you are in a completely new season. So I told him, I'm like, just because God is blessing us, it doesn't mean that we're not allowed to miss parts of how life used to be, you know. And I think that's where I'm at. There's a part of me that misses, you know, my friends, that misses family and all of that. But in the same breath, I am grateful for everything that God is doing in my life. I'm grateful that I have a community. I'm grateful that I get to sit here and talk to you guys. I'm grateful that life is turning out the way it's turning out. I'm in a better place spiritually, which is really cool. Like I said, I'm much more at peace than I've ever been. I'm happy, I'm content, you know. I have the most amazing husband who is very supportive, listens to me all the time. He just literally goes with me. Wherever I go, that man will go with me. If it's a new job, he will encourage me. If it's something that I need to do, he will push me, guys. Even this video, he's the one who's like, babe, just try to post something, try to be as consistent as possible, try to talk to your people, you know. So I think he's been keeping me going, which is really something that I don't take for granted. He's been keeping me going. He's been keeping me on my toes. He's been holding me accountable. He's been on my side. So I'm really grateful for that part of my life. I'm grateful that I have a partner who sees me and who wants to see me win. I'm grateful that I have a community like you guys who's always ready to support me. I'm grateful that I have family, man. They're always cheering me on, and I have friends who are always super excited to see me win, you know. So I'm grateful for all these elements, you know, but yeah, I'm just happy. I'm grateful. I'm content, but I just needed you guys to know that, like, it's been hard and it might take a while for me to get back on my feet and find the consistency. And I'm asking that you guys are patient with me. But yeah, nonetheless, guys, I'm just gonna leave that poster thingy. We're still voting, right? I hope we're still voting. Yeah, guys, yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you so much for listening. I hope this resonates to someone, with or to someone. I hope that there are bits of this conversations that you take away from, and that the most important thing, I know I rambled a lot, I vented, but the most important thing is that seasons of abundance don't mean that we need to feel bad for missing previous seasons or parts of previous seasons. You can still live in a mansion and still miss simple things, like, you know, how easy life was when you lived in that shack, you know, and not easy as in like everything was like and happening, but like sometimes you just miss the fact that, like, when we lived in a shack, we would gather around, like, right? And we would, after we bathed, my mom bathed all of us, or my sister bathed all of us, we would bath and then we'd sit around the stove just so that we could warm ourselves, and we'd have the wildest stories, you know. And that was a beautiful part of that even in struggle, there's still elements of joy that we sort of connect to and kind of miss, you know. So that's what I mean, basically, essentially, with this whole conversation. But yeah, guys, let me not ramble. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys so much. I hope you guys are keeping well. I hope you guys are embracing the seasons as they come. And I just wanted to tell you guys that I love you guys, and as much as I love you, God loves you even more. There's absolutely nothing in this world that can separate you from his love. I hope you guys stay well. Mwah. See you guys next time.